As we step into July 2025, millions of people across the UK continue to rely on benefits and pensions to help manage the rising cost of living. For many, these payments have become an essential lifeline, providing some stability in the face of economic uncertainty. According to recent figures, around 24 million people are now receiving some form of support through benefits administered by the Department for Work and Pensions. That's nearly 1 in 3 people in the country. Now, although the sting of April's utility bill hikes may have started to fade, the reality is that many households are still feeling the pressure. Yes, we've seen increases to the state pension, the minimum wage, and key benefits. But inflation continues to climb, and for most families, their income just can't keep up. Research from the Joseph Rowntree Foundation paints a troubling picture. It shows that over 1 in 5 people in the UK, more than 14 million individuals, were living in poverty as recently as 2022 to 2023. And for those already struggling, the path ahead may feel uncertain. That's why now, more than ever, it's vital to understand exactly what support is available and when you can expect to receive it. Let's start with the benefit payments themselves. This July, there are no bank holidays disrupting the schedule, which means payments should go out as usual. That includes Universal Credit, state pensions, pension credit, child benefit, disability living allowance, personal independence payment, better known as PIP, attendance allowance, carers allowance, ESA, income support, and job seekers allowance. If you've been moved or are in the process of moving from legacy benefits to Universal Credit, you're not alone. The DWP is aiming to complete the migration of all legacy benefits, including tax credits, income support, JSA, and housing benefit, by January 2026. Notices should have gone out to those affected, so if you haven't seen one yet, it's worth checking your mail. And with a potential change in government policy looming, many people are asking the same question. What will Labour's proposed welfare reforms mean for me? As it stands, the changes announced so far include a planned £5 million in cuts. The first major shift will come in April 2026, when the standard allowance for Universal Credit will see a one-off rise of £7 a week. After that, in November 2026, new stricter criteria will apply to PIP, which may affect future claims. If you've been having trouble with PIP, Universal Credit, or any other benefit, there are resources to help. Support is out there, whether through the DWP, charities, or independent advice services. When it comes to pensions, the payment schedule remains straightforward. Like benefits, the basic state pension is paid directly into your bank account every 4 weeks. The specific day you receive it depends on the last 2 digits of your national insurance number. If your number ends in 0 to 19, you'll be paid on a Monday. If it's 20 to 39, that's Tuesday. It continues through the week, all the way up to Friday for those with numbers ending in 80 to 99. Now let's talk numbers. Back in April, benefits across the board saw an increase of 1.7%, in line with the inflation figure recorded in September 2024. That uplift applied to nearly every working age benefit, including Universal Credit, PIP, DLA, ESA, and more. At the same time, the state pension rose by 4.1% thanks to the triple lock. That's an annual increase of £472, giving pensioners a little more breathing room. And speaking of Universal Credit, there's more change ahead. Starting in April 2026, the standard allowance will rise by £7 a week. However, the health element of Universal Credit will be frozen at £97 per week for existing claimants until at least 2029. For new claimants applying after April to 2026, the amount drops significantly to just £50 per week, a reduction of nearly £2,500 a year. So if you think you may be eligible, it's a good idea to apply sooner rather than later. Beyond benefits and pensions, there are several additional forms of support available this July. One of them is the Budgeting Advance Loan. It's designed for people on Universal Credit who face sudden financial emergencies, like a broken appliance or unexpected travel costs. The loans are interest-free and repaid through automatic deductions from your Universal Credit. Depending on your situation, you could borrow between £348 and £812. Just keep in mind that repayments are changing too. Starting in April 2025, Deductions from Universal Credit to repay these loans will be capped at 15% of the standard allowance, down from the current 25%. Another option is the Discretionary Housing Payment, or DHP. If you're struggling to cover rent or need help with a deposit, your local council may be able to step in. But to qualify, you need to be receiving either housing benefit or the housing element of Universal Credit. Each council has its own rules and budget, so you'll need to contact yours directly to apply. You might also qualify for the Household Support Fund. This is another initiative managed by local councils, and it can help cover the cost of essentials like utility bills, food, or even emergency cash payments of up to £300. The fund is available until March 2026, and it's due to be rebranded as the Crisis and Resilience Fund going forward, backed by £1 billion in government funding. Charitable grants are another resource worth exploring. They're often aimed at specific groups, people with disabilities or long-term illnesses, carers, bereaved families, or those facing temporary hardship. One of the best tools to find available grants is the online database provided by the charity Turn2 US. You may be surprised at what support you qualify for. Then there's help from energy providers. Several major suppliers, including British Gas, EDF, EON, Octopus, and Scottish Power, offer assistance programs for customers struggling with their bills. Whether it's through repayment plans, hardship funds, or energy efficiency support, it's worth checking with your supplier directly to see what's available. And don't forget about your council tax. If you are on certain benefits or have limited income, you may qualify for a council tax reduction of up to 100%. Even if you don't meet the standard criteria, many councils offer discretionary reductions for those facing severe hardship. You can apply for this directly through your local council's website. There's also expanded childcare support now in effect. As of April 2024, working parents became eligible for 15 hours of free childcare for 2-year-olds. That was expanded again in September to include all children from the age of 9 months. The final expansion comes in September 2025, when every child under 5 will be entitled to 30 hours of free childcare each week. That's a massive support package for working families. And if you're paying for childcare out of pocket, don't forget that you can also apply for tax-free childcare, which gives you back 20 pence for every 80 pence you spend, up to £500 a year. Finally, a bit of good news on energy prices. Ofgem has confirmed that the energy price cap will fall from £1,849 to £1,720 for the period from July to September, a drop of 7%. This follows 3 consecutive hikes, so for many households, it'll be a welcome relief. The price cap sets the maximum amount suppliers can charge you per unit of gas and electricity if you are on a standard variable tariff, which includes most people. While it's not a bill cap, it does help to regulate what you pay overall. If the cost of living is affecting your mental health, you're not alone. And there is help available. Samaritans are available 24/7, every single day of the year. You can call them free on 116123 or email joe@samaritans.org. Mind also offers support lines and has resources tailored to those navigating the benefits system. NHS England provides mental health triage services online, and Scope runs an online forum where you can connect with others going through similar experiences. So as July unfolds, the challenges are real, but so is the support. Whether it's benefits, pensions, local grants, or emergency assistance, there are options out there. Make sure you're getting everything you're entitled to, and don't hesitate to reach out for help. Because in these times, no one should have to face the cost of living crisis alone.